Studies have shown that kids who spend a lot of time holding a stuffed animal tend to feel calmer and more secure, giving them a sense of control over things happening in their lives since they're able to use their imagination with their stuffed animals. And combined with a book, you've got a winning combination. Greetings to all watching and listening to this episode of Chezuba Talks. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Kari Schmitz, co founder of Bears Who Care, a 501c3 nonprofit. Kari has been working in the brand marketing, promotions, corporate partnerships, and public relations fields for over 30 years for distinguished brands, including the Walt Disney Company, Universal Orlando Resort, and Rollerblade Incorporated. Welcome, Kari.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And that's a
I
lovely introduction. I sound so important when you say all of those things about me.
Well, you are. You're the happiness ambassador.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny when you go through life and you don't always pause to think about what you've accomplished. So it's nice to hear it. It's nice to know.
Absolutely, yeah. Uh, Bears Who Care, the name says it
Yes.
all, and it has a tone of warmth to it. Tell us how you decided to start this nonprofit.
That is a very interesting question. So essentially, what it boils down to for me, this also involved my husband, was wanting to give back and leave the world a better place. My parents always taught me that, and it seemed like the right thing to do. So we were brainstorming. We both come from corporate backgrounds, as you obviously just heard, and we just wanted to do more. So we were talking, and both of my parents were educators. Unfortunately, I lost them when I was in my 20s, but my mother in particular was a reading teacher. And so I feel like their dreams and their impact on the planet was a little unfulfilled. And then my husband's grandfather's name is Teddy, and I love teddy bears. And so we just kind of put it all together because there are some charities that do only teddy bears and some
Uh-huh.
that just do books. And so we thought, oh, you know what? Let's put them together because in that way we can, like you said, help give children warmth and comfort, and then at the same time inspire them to read because reading is such an important skill in life. And there are so many people that still don't know how to read as adults. So,
Very true, very true. Reading is something that is, slowly disappearing, mainly
yeah,
because of all the digital access that children have. So
yeah.
that answers my question. Actually, I was going to ask you why a teddy bear and why not any other stuffed animal. So I think you answered that with the grandparents' name, right? That's
Yeah,
Ted.
well, yeah, so it's two things. My mother, she had a thing, I don't know, it's just something that she started whenever she would travel, or she just started buying teddy bears, and then that became a thing for us. And so she'd bring me one when she would go places and things. And then my nickname, I'll just put this out there, is Care Bear, which is what my father called me. So it was kind of both
Oh,
of those things. So yeah, it's a personal thing for sure. But teddy bears are just cute, right? And cuddly. So they're
they
fun.
are. They are. I think there is a study also why teddy bear is more appealing than any other stuffed animal. Not that
Yeah.
any other stuffed animal is less appealing, but yeah.
Yeah, they're just good for everybody.
And what are the ages that you serve? And is it underserved communities, or is it just anybody who you think needs comfort, comforting book or a comforting toy?
Who we give the teddy bears and books to is really a combination. So there are other children who are in underprivileged communities and schools, and so we visit them quite a bit because
Hmm.
and when I talk to the teachers and administrators, they'll tell me that these children literally don't have a bear and a book at home, and so to give them
Hmm.
that gift is such a tremendous opportunity. And then at the same time, you have children of all different backgrounds that end up in hospitals and that are ill that also need the comfort and an escape from dealing with the medical situation that they're in. So we definitely help children in multiple ways and give them to different ones just based on their situation. It's just needing that moment or opportunity to have comfort and use your imagination with a book. And then the other thing too that we like is the fact that it can involve the parents because when
Yeah.
children are younger, especially, because we do tend to cater to younger children. We visit schools, a lot of elementary schools, but we'll go up to about age 12 or 13 typically. Um, and then that way parents have an opportunity to read with the children and share that special moment as well. So it's teaching the children to read and inspiring them, and then giving the parents an opportunity to be with them as well.
True. And you did say younger children. So what is the age that?
So typically,
generally?
we'll use zero because it can be infants sometimes
Right.
that we give books to. That's typically in the hospital. Yeah, usually to about ages 12 or 13. It usually kind of ends in middle school with the
Mm-hmm.
types of communities that we go to. However, in a hospital, it can be any age range. Sometimes we have teenagers. So when we go there, we usually provide a whole variety of different books types because we don't know how old the children will be versus a school when you can plan for the particular age groups.
True. And I believe you have names for the bears.
Yes. Oh, I don't have it with me, but so our bear, we have two of them essentially. So Bailey is the name of our bear, and our daughter came up with that name. And what's nice about it is that Bailey can be any type of bear, any gender or whatever you want it
Exactly.
to be.
Right.
And you
Right.
can always rename the bear as well. And then the one that we give the children is a different type. It has our logo on it and a tag. And then we have one that we sell that's a gunned bear, which is a very nice high end brand. And then when you buy
Uh-huh.
one of those, that essentially equates to providing a bear in a book for two children.
Oh,
Prices are
lovely.
going up. It used to be about three, it's probably a little bit closer to two. But at
I
least
get
you
it.
know that
Yeah.
the money that you are providing and then buying the bear then translates into something that's giving to children that really need a bear in a book.
True. So you decide. So is there a preparation that you are going to be visiting, you know, a particular child? Do you inform the parents well in advance, or is it a surprise?
Oh, that's a good question. So, when it comes to the hospitals and places that support people that can't really afford healthcare, typically it's more of a surprise because that we don't necessarily interact with those patients because of sanitary needs and things
Right.
like that. But I know for the staff members who then get to deliver the gifts of the bears and the books, it is a surprise because they come in and they provide these and say, "Hey, here's something for you to help you feel better." And so it is nice to know that they are getting that magical moment to give that
Yeah.
to the children. When it comes to the schools, the we plan it ahead of time because we have to orchestrate coming and bringing all of those items.
True.
And then sometimes it's a surprise for the children. It just depends because what they'll typically do is they'll tell them, "Hey, there's a special guest coming." Um, and if I'm able to read with the children, it's so amazing. I just read to about 60 kindergartners 2 weeks ago, and it was
Uh-huh.
so intimidating because they're all
Yeah, I'm
sitting
sure.
there, waiting for you to tell them and to tell a story that's so compelling. So, but it was neat because afterward, then we were able to actually give them the bears in the book. So they don't necessarily expect that part; they just know that something
Uh-huh.
special will happen. So, yeah, I guess it
Lovely.
is more of a surprise. Now I think about it.
Lovely. And I'm sure the expressions are priceless once they
Oh yeah,
receive it.
I what's interesting is it's an opportunity for the children to be polite. So the teachers, of course, will say, "Don't forget to say thank you."
Yeah.
So there's that, and I sometimes I won't give them the bear until they say thank you. But some of these children, they'll just run up and hug me. They'll take the bear and the book, and they'll hug the bear so tight
Oh,
because they're so excited to have it. Yeah, like it'll bring a tear to your eye if you get to do it because it's just so powerful to give them these gifts.
wow. That's so rewarding.
Let's take a break to understand what Chezuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chezuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chezuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chezuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chezuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest.
Carrie, it can be challenging to motivate kids to read books. So obviously you are encouraging parents and teachers, or you yourself are reading. Uh, what is the one challenge that you feel is more difficult? The part where you are encouraging them to read, or the part where you're preparing your consignment, so to say, to
Oh.
deliver?
I would say it would be the preparation and the logistics of Bears Who Care. The opportunity that you have to actually hand the bears and the books, interact with the children is really, it's kind of the glamorous side of it. Because when you give
Ah,
them the bear and the book, and if you are able to read a story with the children, which is even more powerful, they definitely want to read. I mean, they grab the books. You can tell that they're interested in it. The teachers reinforce it. In the hospitals, it's probably a little bit different, but I think no matter what, when you have that tangible book to read,
hmm.
it's wonderful. But in terms of the logistics, we have a storage unit, and you have these giant boxes of bears, and I have to organize and count them. And when I say it's not necessarily just me. I try to get volunteers whenever I can.
I get
And you
that.
have to make
Yes.
sure you have the books arranged a certain way by age group for the schools, and then so there's a lot of that, and it's physical labor, a lot of what we do. So
Backbreaking,
I have, yeah,
backbreaking
I have to
work.
prepare people. Sorry.
Backbreaking work.
Yes,
It's your
exactly.
back. You need to have a strong back.
You do. I'm getting older, thus I have to have volunteers. I know, but I'm very independent, and I probably do more lifting than I should. But yeah, I do let people know when you come and you do Bears Who Care, it's lots of physical experience.
Yeah, lovely. So you can just consider that to be a workout, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, you do. You build muscle. And it's a labor of love, of course, because you know the end
Yeah,
result. But it's dusty old boxes, and you have to rent a
yeah,
truck, and you just deliver boxes and bags, and then they turn into these amazing moments with the children. So
super. Um, so, do you see this going on a larger scale to different countries, perhaps, or to different districts? How do you see yourself in the near
oh,
future?
you're playing into my vision that I have for Bears Who Care, and I absolutely
It,
could see this going everywhere. I would love to do that. That is my dream, because being able to have bears in books and give them away is something you can do anywhere. It's just a matter of
absolutely.
figuring out how
Yes.
to grow and do. So right now, obviously, we do a lot within the Orlando area. We have a board of directors, and so one of them is in Atlanta, and so she said, "Well, why can I start to do some of this in Atlanta?" So we're going to try to do a little bit more and start branching out, but it's you have to scale it, and I've got to do some business homework
Yeah.
to make it
Yeah.
work that way. But yeah, I would love to just be the only employee for Bears Who Care, and that's all I would do. And maybe someday that's what'll
Mhm.
happen. But yeah, I have the same vision that you just articulated. Go
Lovely. Looking.
international, right? Why
That's
can't we bring them
that's
all over the world? That would be
absolutely. And
amazing.
there
Yeah.
is also this idea. I mean, I don't want to put it out there, or you can just.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like a library, as in you can share your books, you can share your bears, but obviously post COVID, I would say things might be a little challenging. But this is also an idea, right? You could do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I one of the things that, and I actually read about a young girl who created some libraries in I think some of her local hospitals, which is really inspiring to me. And I thought, wow, imagine if we could do that at the hospital, and we probably can. But instead of just having individual books, the kids can keep maybe a yes and you have a library there, and so the kids who are in the hospital can go and read the books, but then you also give them a bear on top of that. That would be great. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Like even having help the libraries at the schools, because the more permanent and more accessible you can make the reading, all the better. So yeah, I agree with you. That would be really powerful.
Yeah. Where do you source the books from? Is it, do you look up and do you select a certain age group or reading level? And do you select books based on pictures, for example?
Yeah, the books that we select, it's typically me doing it, but we source them currently from Scholastic Literacy Partnerships, and they offer discounted books to organizations like ours, which is wonderful. So we can get really good books at a pretty good price. And the titles that I pick are usually ones that I know are popular. I'll do some research on it. I'll ask some of the educators. And, of course, my mother being a reading teacher and having a daughter of my own, I know what books resonate. So, for example, Clifford the Big Red Dog is very popular. And I'll pick the different titles based on the age groups, especially
Correct.
at the
Yes.
schools, because I know how many kindergartners, how many third graders, things like that. For hospitals, it is where you have to have a wider range, but you want to have books that are fun and cool if you can get them at a discount. But frankly,
Yes.
the children are just so happy to have a good story that we don't have to be that particular. But
Yes.
I do pick them
I have
as
seen
appropriate based on the
wonderful
different
books.
reading
My
levels.
niece has some
So yeah.
amazing books. They are, the touch, the texture, feel, the fur of the animal, and they are so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, these kind of books, but they're very expensive, I guess.
Yeah, the technology of books. Yeah, yeah, those don't necessarily fit in our budget.
Hmm.
However, we have had people do book drives for us. So sometimes I've actually early when Bear Sue Care started, there was a woman who wrote me an email and said, "Hey, my daughter's having a first birthday party, and I was going to collect a bunch of
Ah,
books in lieu of gifts. Could we donate them to you?" And I said, "Wow, yeah, that would be great." And by the way, we have these ideas on our
okay.
website because people who have come up with them, I want to share them. So, and so we got these gorgeous, board books, and some of the ones like you're describing. Some are electronic where you can push and get little different sounds. So, yeah, again, in a perfect world, I'd love to have fancy books, but sometimes we do get them because people give us brand new books that they just decide. And actually, there's a local workout facility that's doing a book drive for
Yeah,
us right now,
lovely,
and we'll get
lovely,
a whole
wonderful.
bunch of different books, which
And
will be
what is the
cool.
support that you seek from volunteers? Do you need any volunteers online you could do with some help there?
Actually, yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I would say that the physical part, we certainly need help in terms of online and doing more. There's so much social media probably is the biggest opportunity for us because I really am the one who does everything for Bears Who Care. My husband does what he can, but he works full time, and I've got more of a part
You
time
will.
arrangement.
You'll find
So
something.
I can't keep up with social
Yes, yeah.
media.
Wonderful.
I'm actually hoping
Would
that
you
I
like to
can
share
work
your
with
social
Chezuba to
handles
figure some
on
of
this
that out because I know
podcast?
that you have some wonderful resources available. But yeah, it's content, it's all of that stuff. I can't do enough of it. I can't get enough visibility on our social because I just don't have time. So hopefully I can get some help. Yes, that'd be
uh,
great. Yes.
okay. Super. Lovely. Lovely talking to you.
Yeah, sure. So on Facebook
You
we
are the only
are
ones.
Bears Who
Lovely.
Care, and
Wonderful, Carrie. It was
Twitter
amazing
is it's
talking to
at
you.
Bears Who Care,
You're
and then
doing
on
great work.
Instagram it's a
And
little tricky
what
because
you are doing,
somebody
it's
had
yeah.
the Bears Who Care hand. So it's Bears Who Care with an underscore
So
on Instagram. Yes, it's a little strange, but that's us. But yeah, when you do Bears Who Care, you'll find us. We're the only ones. Yes.
lovely. If you are going to get anywhere in life, you have to read
Thank
a
you.
lot of books, so said Roald Dahl. And that, if done with a cute teddy tucked beside,
Thank
can
you.
work
Yeah, yeah, it's
wonders.
a very
Thank you very
it's
much,
been a
Carrie, for
very
sharing your story.
powerful it was a little
And it
idea
has
and
been
it's
a
grown into
pleasure
something
talking
so
to you.
much bigger and I like you said I would love to have it do a lot more. So thank you for letting
Thank
me
you, my
share my
dear
story. I
friends, for
really
tuning
appreciate
into
that.
this episode. I hope you are as inspired by these remarkable people as I am sharing their stories. See you all in the next episode, meeting yet another star personality.